As I was sitting and browsing the internet privately and in my own home, I came across an article reviewing every inn in Cyrodiil, and I decided that it was time for a holiday. Now, Cyrodiil is quite an interesting destination for a summer getaway, so I immediately packed my bag with just the essentials, got in time for my Ryanair flight, and I arrived. Instead of limiting myself to booking just one accommodation, I thought I would just roam around using the article from earlier as a guide. And so for this video, I will be staying in the worst and best inns in Cyrodiil, the worst being anything below maybe 2 stars and the best being anything with a solid 5 stars. Now before we get started, hi, my name is Angelika, and did you know that the Elder Scrolls have a Yelp review section? Of course you didn't, but I did. Because I read Elder Scrolls. It is time for us to channel our inner hotel critics and see if these ratings were accurate or if we're gonna have to speak to the manager. Let us begin with the worst rated inns and see if they're really all that bad. Coming in at rock bottom, we have the Inn of Ill Omen. Now, right off the bat, the name isn't bad. It's pretty alternative, got a bit of alliteration going on, or assonance, however you call it. It was raining when I got there, which really added to the overall dismal vibe of the place, but you know what? I'm into that sort of thing. The owner is really friendly and told me that he also likes the sign, and then set me up with my room pretty fast, so I would give the staff a 10 out of 10. I felt very welcomed in his shed. The room, of course, was a bit of a hole. The candle wasn't even lit, but I'm a bit socially awkward and I was too shy to ask the nice innkeeper to light it for me. I didn't want to ruin the good social interaction that we had earlier, so I just left it at that. The bedroll looked a bit filthy, but hey, at least it was there. It comes with a pillow and everything. I mean, what more could you ask for? The dining area was kept warm by the fire, a very nice touch, and something was definitely spilled on that rug and never cleaned up. Too afraid to ask what it is, but overall it was a pretty cozy space to have your meal. The innkeeper actually gave me permission to look around the basement floor, which had pretty impressive and spacious rooms, big beds. The only issue was whatever was growing or leaking off of the walls. In that, I guess he did me a favor by giving me the bedroll room, so another point for that. Now this is a solid 2-star establishment in my book, better than 90% of what you would get for like $2,000 plus in Dublin if you're renting, and a lot less mold. Our next stop was the city of Coral and the Grey Mare Inn, which, like the last place, only got half a star. Now me personally, I like a good cozy shack. Again, life in Ireland has really taught me to appreciate the little things. I have to say, location-wise, it's pretty perfect. You've got views of the castle, the mountains, it's in a very nice area and well protected with the city guard barracks literally up the hill to the right. The place itself was even better lit than the previous inn, and I wanted to book my room straight away, but I had to wait while the innkeeper was having some sort of a strange exchange with what I assume is another guest at the inn. I mean, I certainly didn't want to interrupt. Before I could even speak with her, this man started harassing me about the whereabouts of his son.
Hello. You haven't seen my sons, have you?
I told him I'm just a tourist, but it didn't seem to register. Anyways, I booked my room for 10 gold a night, had a pleasant conversation with the owner, and immediately noticed her level of dedication to the job. She literally sleeps behind the counter so as to not miss a single guest. Once again, an excellent staff experience. After getting questioned about the whereabouts of this man's son again, I finally went upstairs and was pleasantly surprised to find that my room had not only a filthy bedroll, but also some storage space. It would be nice to finally unpack my suitcase. The dining area of the inn was even nicer than the last, more light, and I copped a nice table at the back to eat my sweet corn and cabbage in peace by candlelight. This is a solid 3 stars for me. I have to say I'm not really agreeing with the reviewers so far. Now the Roxy Inn was a pleasant surprise indeed. The exterior is well kept, you've got some flowers, great views, and there's even a place to sit down, like a bench or a horse. The inside was bustling with guests, and it's no wonder. The inn is nicely decorated with paintings, there's some literature if you're bored, plenty of gossip. The innkeeper was nice enough, but a little pushy in assuming that I was there to do some sort of a job for her. I was only interested in a bed. Anyway, when I pushed my way through all of the guests to finally get to my room, I was again delighted with what I saw. Same filthy bedroll, kinda used to it, kinda growing on me at this stage. But this time we had some nice lighting, storage space, and even some art, which was pretty neat. Definitely giving this high points for atmosphere. The dining area was a bit too small for the amount of guests. They should really consider expanding, but the ambience was like a party with the socializing, standing around, and even an alcoholic. Solid 3.5, favorite inn so far. Then I took a trip to Moslin's Inn in a pretty little village called Hackdirt. I'm going to say this right here, this place is not a vibe at all. The people have no manners, everybody just stares at you all the time. Now, the inn from the outside actually looked very nice, and I thought I was in for a real treat with this one, but then I stepped inside. First of all, the innkeeper was standing inside of the bar, which I thought was just really rude and unprofessional. Behind him there were some huge cobwebs, not a whole lot of light, and there was nobody inside apart from this strange man who, again, has a real staring problem. I really don't like it when people look at me. I went to book my room and I was in absolute shock when he told me the price.
I guess we've got a room available. 30 gold per night. Take it or leave it.
30 gold! I could have stayed 3 nights at the Roxy Inn for that. What do you mean?
Fine. Take the stairs up to the right, the room on the left. No visitors allowed and no pets.
I'm sorry, no pets? Well, I guess we just won't tell him. As I did with all the other inns, I wanted to check out the dining area, which was completely dead, by the way, no light, and at the back I found this very interesting trapdoor, but before I could take a peek, I sensed that someone was following me. What is your problem? Anyway, hospitality is at an absolute 0 here, but I awkwardly made my way to my room, which did have a very big window lighting up the place, but honestly, I think the room could have done without that much light because it just made all of the mold and other unpleasant details stand out all the more. I just want my bedroll back. Yeah, no pets allowed because it would be considered actual animal cruelty to keep an animal up here. Anyway, I'm gonna agree with the reviewers on this one. This place is an absolute dump. 1 star, with its exterior being the only saving grace. Now, the Drunken Dragon Inn is one I have very mixed feelings about. So, you get there. It is an ideal country setting, very well kept. There is flowers outside. That sign alone was enough to get my vote. You go in there and it's warm, there's a nice rug, there's flowers, a man of the city watch, drinking on the job, but it's okay, we won't tell. Everything is great and I'm pretty excited to book my room for the night. But my whole experience was soured when I walked up to the innkeeper, who said this.
Oh, by the 9 divines, why do I get all the riffraff?
Excuse me, riffraff? Haven't said 1 word yet, and I got immediately disrespected to oblivion. Yet, when we started talking business, he was singing a different tune.
Sure, friend. I've got a bed you can rent. It's upstairs at the end of the hall, last door on your right. Just 20 gold. Sound good?
That's all well and good. I pay for my room only to once again be brutally disrespected in front of the entire establishment.
Next time, go someplace else, huh? The Inn of Ill Omen, the Tiber Septim Hotel, anywhere but here, okay?
I'll have you know I have stayed in the Inn of Ill Omen, and their customer service would wipe the floor with yours.
Okay.
But anyway, I swallowed my pride and went to my room. It was nice. The bed was really pretty, minimal mold, great carpet. But I still had a sour taste in my mouth from somebody being mean to me, so everything was mid. All in all, it's 3 stars for being well kept and for the sign, but yeah, 0 for the service and 0 for the service. So now that we've gone through the worst inns, let's see what is the best that Cyrodiil has to offer according to the reviewers. Our first stop was the Ayleswell Inn, which rests at the top of a hill with an amazing view of the Imperial City. The village itself is rather quaint, very pretty, but also kind of empty. I also kept thinking that I'm hearing voices, but that happens to me quite a lot, so I just moved on. I entered the inn, which was also completely empty, and I had the voices telling me that they were invisible and needed my help, which again, very rude. This is some sort of joke, a stupid prank. I come all this way, I just need a bed for the night, and everybody's in a state. Didn't even bother booking my stay here. Took a peek at the rooms, they were alright, but I just can't handle anybody else being mean to me. I'm still vulnerable after the Drunken Dragon incident. So instead I decided that my next stop would be the West Weald Inn in Skingrad, with a very welcoming interior, nice spacious dining area, lots of silverware. The other guests were making me a bit uncomfortable right off the bat, so I decided that I wouldn't loiter and I just booked my room quickly and headed upstairs to get some rest. This was a corner room with very nice bed sheets, some great natural light. I even have a chair that I can sit and look at my bed from, or I can sit on my bed and look at the chair. Lots to keep me busy. It's no bedroll at the Roxy Inn, but, you know, it wasn't half bad. This was a good 4 stars for me personally. I then traveled to Anvil to stay at the Count's Arms, conveniently located in the center of the city. The dining area was huge. They definitely could be using that space a little better, but, you know, regardless, I found it all to be very pleasant, well lit, and I was even offered the best room in the establishment. It did set me back 25 gold, but at that point I felt like it would be worth it. My room was nicely lit, very big bed, but the highlight was the food on the table. This was the first. 5 stars for me because I was hungry and they solved that problem. Finally, as my holidays in Cyrodiil were coming to an end, I decided to spend the last of it in the Imperial City. And the first of the highest rated inns in the Imperial City is the Merchant's Inn, which I really wasn't a fan of. Like, I'll be honest, I hated it. When I arrived, the place was so crowded. Everybody was walking around, shoving each other. Then there was a lot of commotion over an alleged theft.
You treacherous little filcher! How dare you steal from me?
What's going on?
Everybody was screaming. The city guard even arrived, but on his way to make an arrest, he got distracted and started gossiping. He's just like me, for real. I thought that I had enough drama for one evening, so I shoved my way past the crowd to book my room and be done with it. I paid for my room. People were coughing without covering their mouth. I really just wanted to get away from it all. Also, there was food on the floor. My first impressions of my room were pleasant enough. I mean, lots of light, nice decoration, raw meat on a plate. Okay, thanks. Glad I brought my own snacks. And the worst part, mold. Green, thick mold all over the walls. So if the coughing, or the raw meat, or the food they store on the ground doesn't make you sick, the velvety fungus all over the walls will definitely do the job. An absolute scam for 20 gold. Sorry, the entire place is a health and safety hazard. It should be shut down. 0 stars. Now for my last night, I was hoping that the highly rated bloated float in the waterfront district would surely lift my spirits. It didn't. In fact, it made me depressed. Now, it's a cool concept, a ship turned into an inn, but you realize very quickly that it's just a gimmick. And I mean, it doesn't even work. A place like this, you would think, is Party City, but no, it was completely dead. Nobody but the innkeeper was present. And he just stood there staring at the wall because even he has lost all hope of seeing any customers. He quickly put on his customer service voice and I booked my room for 10 gold, which was below deck. Not a great experience. I felt very seasick and frustrated, and the room was a bit tiny and boring. Also, I think the bed was rotting. Anyways, that concluded my stay in Cyrodiil, and I'm very happy to be back at home now sharing my reviews with you all. So I think the moral of the story here is to not trust reviewers straight away. They're not always right, but I am. You can trust me. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more like this and if we should review inns and taverns from the other provinces. Also, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I want to say a huge thanks for 30,000 subscribers. It's really great to be here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Be seeing you. Bye!